Hello, it's Nick the Barber here with another tutorial. Today I'm doing a woman's cut with a little bit of a design. Um, so first I'm gonna part off the top from the bottom using a U-shaped parting. And I'm gonna debulk the bottom with some clip rubber comb. I get my length from above the ear, just kind of tapering out the hairline, and then I keep that shape going straight up. I don't taper into the top of the head because I want to leave weight towards the parietal ridge, and I use that same length to carry me around the whole head pretty much. I keep it lower under the occipital bone because I want to keep enough length so the hair doesn't stick up when I'm connecting the back to the top. I make sure to go over the hairline, make sure it's tapered, and to make sure that the length above the hairline is in fact longer than the hairline, especially because I'm gonna give her a shape up around the neck and around the ear. So now I brought down the top and I'm combing the hair to the side so that I could take horizontal partings to establish my length on the top. I make sure to take a part of my beginning section and carry that through to the end so I don't lose the actual shape and structure of my cut. I make sure to keep my elbow low when I'm cutting the top. The more comfortable I can be, the more efficiently I can cut. So instead of bringing my elbow up, I simply change the position that I'm holding the shears. As I go towards the back, I'm going to tilt her head down so that I have easier access. When I go towards the corners of the head, I make sure to keep a 90-degree angle, meaning I pull the hair straight out from where it grows. I do this because I don't want to end up having hair being pulled a farther distance towards like the corners or the sides of the head and end up leaving those longer. I want to keep them the same length as they are on the top. As I connect the back to the top, I pull the hair straight out from where it grows and look for that triangle shape that is basically the disconnection. Once I cut that off, the hair will blend smoothly. I'm not taking the most neat partings right now. That's basically because I know where I am around the head, but it's more advisable to comb very clean and neat sections. Right now, I created a triangle parting, basically connecting a parting between the back of the head and the recession point in the forehead. This way I leave the front of the hair untouched. I'm going to connect that later, but with over direction. I'm combing in backwards diagonal partings because that's the direction in which I'm going to style the hair later on, and that'll make sure I get a nice flow. Wherever you're gonna comb the hair or style the hair, that's the direction you want to cut it in. So at this point, my client told me that she wanted the sides to be a bit shorter. That's easy. I just take some clipper over comb and take about 1 centimeter off the side. That's pretty much all she wanted. And then she said she wanted the top a bit shorter, which is okay. I see this client every couple months, so sometimes we have to do this. Cut a little bit, check the mirror, cut a little bit, check the mirror. As long as we get to the perfect length, it's good for both of us. As you can see, I'm quickly taking partings. I know where I am on the head, so they don't have to be too neat. I'm on the corner, and this is just a different way to connect. Instead of taking diagonal back partings, I'm simply lifting the hair out at a 90-degree angle at the corner of the head. Now after drying the side, I'm gonna refine that blend with some scissor over comb. I'm just combing the hair up slowly and seeing what hairs aren't in line, and whatever hair doesn't fall in line, cut it. If you notice there's some like triangle shapes coming out, those are disconnections. That's why I pretty much always do a couple passes. So now I'm starting my design. I'm keeping it super simple. I just want to follow the flow of her head. I'm using the corner of my blade, basically the last 1 or 2 teeth, because I'm working in a pretty small area. Whenever you're doing lines, you're working with a pretty small area, but when they're curved, especially so, you can't really lay that clipper down flat. Right now I'm using the other end to make sure that I go against the direction of the growth so that I get the crispiest cut. I continuously comb the hair that I've cut away from the head so I can see what's left. Right now I'm taking a 1.5 guard under the line to create some contrast in the haircut. That way I can keep the design simple but still draw attention. you're wondering if I know where my design is going to end up when I start, typically I don't. Unless a client comes in showing me a picture, I just start, and wherever it takes me, it takes me. So right now I'm further debulking a little bit above the line with some freehand clipper, and then now some shear over comb. I had to shorten the hair around where I was going to draw the lines. That way hair doesn't fall over the line and you have more visibility. And the people looking at the haircut, including the client, have more visibility. One of the important things about doing a design is if you're gonna do anything that is close to being parallel, the closer it is to being parallel, the better off you're gonna be. The eye just detects things like that. It's strange, but as soon as I knew I was gonna create a line below it, I knew I had to make it as close to parallel as possible. So now I'm doing some interior fading in the design. This will create more contrast and draw the eye to it. I'm starting with the clipper open, and then I'm closing it more and more as I get lower on that design. When fading in such a small area like this, it's less of a science. You kind of cut, see where you are, and adjust as you go. So you'll see I open the lever, close it, open it, close it, and I just do that until I think it looks really good. So now I have the half guard on. Typically if I go from no guard, I'll go straight to a one guard, but this time I'm going to a half guard. Like I said, it's less of a science when you're fading in this small of an area. So now I'm fading into the even part of the design with a 1.5, because that's the length that I originally cut under that line. Again, I'm going to my half guard. I typically fade up and then down, and sometimes up again, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. She wants to keep this haircut really soft and gentle, so I'm only lining up the nape and around the ear. The sideburn, I may taper a bit, but that's all I'll do. I think she made a good decision asking me to do that. It keeps the cut super feminine, and that's the look she's going for. So you may have noticed I didn't start with a really low guard. When the hair is pretty fine or less dense, I start off with a higher guard to just make sure I don't bring that taper up too high. I believe that's a 2 guard on there, and I think I'm gonna, yep, there's the 3 guard. I'm gonna use that to blend into the darkness of the back of the cut. And I'm gonna refine some more with some shear over comb. Shear over comb is a good way to take weight out of the haircut and keeping it soft at the same time. Cutting is all about your comb. Anyone can open a pair of shears and close them, but the placement that you put the hair in using your comb is very important. So see, I put the comb in teeth first, and I pull the hair out by raising the teeth towards the sky. And that'll expose any hair that's uneven. As you can see, whenever it's uneven, you'll see kind of like a triangle shape, and that's a disconnection. As you can see, I don't need to use shears. I just ended up using the liners because I was already lining up the nape. So this is as much of a lineup as I'm going to do on this particular client. I'm just taking more weight out of that parietal ridge because I noticed it was a bit heavy. I'm using the same steps to taper, but I'm not starting from as low of a guard. I don't want an extreme taper. I pretty much always use a straight razor on my designs. Actually, I don't remember a single time I haven't used a straight razor on design. This way I can get the stubble out of the way, add to that contrast, and clean up the lines. Sometimes I might actually alter the shape of a line with the straight razor. Because I always have a second pass, I get another chance to look at it. And sometimes I notice things that I didn't really like before. Make sure to always stretch the skin whenever you're using a straight razor. I did prep the skin with some shaving gel to soften up the skin and make for a smoother shave. As I was saying earlier, I was going to style the hair going backwards on the sides, and I use a blow dryer to do that. I'm making sure no hairs hang over the design, because even if you use a straight razor, it won't look clean if other longer hairs are hanging over it. My client has a particular way that she likes to style her hair, and that's probably a good thing considering she'll have to do it every day. So I pretty much let her do whatever she wants. And this is the cut. A woman's cut with a design. Slightly tapered, not really faded. Here's what we started off with, and this is what we finished with. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, share, all that. Follow me on Instagram. Leave a comment if you liked it or you hated it. It's up to you. Thank you.